first questions first. Ahmea, could you please tell me what is your definition of a safe space?
A safe space is exactly what it sounds like, where you have a place where you can feel validated. I can tell you the first time I was able to see exactly what a safe space was, where they had us in college. They had stickers around the college that had pride flags on them, and they told us anytime we needed a safe space, this is where we could go. And it really was exactly what it was. You were able to talk to someone and be free into the skin you are.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the last installation in this exclusive, but best for last. We have Ahmea with us here today to talk about safe spaces yet again. I'm Jolie, the Health and Wellness Coordinator at the Colors Organization. My pronouns are she, they. Ahmea, tell us your pronouns, please.
Well, you know, I go by she, her, and queen, nothing more, nothing less, please.
Well, period. All right, queen, empress, goddess. All right. So today we're going to be talking, like I said, about safe spaces, about the importance of creating safe spaces, maintaining them, and how we can continue to show up as a safe space for each other. So, first questions first. Ahmea, could you please tell me what is your definition of a safe space?
A safe space is exactly what it sounds like, where you have a place where you can feel validated. I can tell you the first time I was able to see exactly what a safe space was, where they had us in college. They had stickers around the college that had pride flags on them, and they told us anytime we needed a safe space, this is where we could go. And it really was exactly what it was. You were able to talk to someone and be free into the skin you are.
Yes, exactly. Like the purpose too of like the purpose of, or the importance, of making sure that also people know where to find these safe spaces.
Absolutely.
Like that's a part of it too, because it's like, it's one thing to create this beautiful organization that's super safe and welcoming, comforting, and a great staff.
Hello.
But if no one knows that you
Hello.
exist.
And beyond having just a space, you can call this space that we're in right now safe.
Yes.
But if you don't understand how to work with someone like me, that safe space can turn very toxic very quickly. So making sure that when you are honoring a safe space or deeming something safe, that the workers and the people that you put in to help run this safe space knows exactly how to deal with the community at large that they're dealing with.
T, and T. So talk to me more then specifically about how do people show up and create this safe space? What can they do in themselves to make sure that they are promoting a safe space?
So in my opinion, in order for someone to have the ability to be able to see anything up past themselves, they have to have the ability to have an open mind. Because not one person is the same, thank God. So when we're talking about leading into a safe space, for example, I've been using this example all week. Though you may yell and scream at me, if we were getting into it and you were yelling and screaming, or you had a nasty attitude, someone may be like, oh, well, what's wrong with her? I'm able to step back and say, you know what? Well, she did say she spilled her coffee this morning. She did say that her dog is dying.
Right.
I can understand and have that empathy on
Understanding,
where
yep.
that is.
Yep.
So having someone who can step outside of who they are, because when you're asking someone to come into a safe space and be able to speak, you have to step outside of you, because two things are going to happen. Either you're not going to be able to hear and be able to receive, to be able to flow out what needs to be happening,
yep.
or you're going to fall into yourself.
T, and T. That's serious. Like, when we want to show up as safe spaces, we want to show up as someone who's able to really just look at the full person, and be able to continue thinking about how we're going to continue to foster this relationship.
Absolutely.
How we're going to continue to foster a sense of understanding, of empathy, of listening, of caring, and also
all of that comes with ethics.
Yes.
And about who you are
Yes.
outside of, because a lot of people take in position. Don't get me started, Joy. A lot of people take in positions such within the or in the health field, or such as in medical fields or agencies, and they take it as a job. You don't have that moment to be able to, and that it comes with ethics and what you are as a person,
yes,
and how you feel as a person, and what you do behind closed doors. Because I see a lot of people in the city of Philadelphia who work in these fields, and they're here, but they're also then talking about someone. They're also disclosing information, and or they'll take all of your hurt and pain in and execute it out as a joke.
And people talk, because then they find out, oh, Dr. such and such, nurse such and such, whoever, Mr. such and such at this organization been talking about me.
You kill a safe space. One bad apple can kill a safe space.
That is powerful. That is really powerful. So let's even speak more about that. What are some things that you think, besides that as well, what are some other ways in which spaces can accidentally or even intentionally sometimes create a space that is unsafe? Like, what does that look like?
It's unknowledgeability. It is the willingness not to change. Because we have two options: change and flow and grow,
Yep,
and or stay stagnant.
Yep.
And when you choose to stay in that position, you can. That's why sometimes, excuse me, when you have leadership, that's why I love that there is a 4-term within leadership.
Yep.
When it comes to our national leadership, because it allows someone to grow, water, and then step away to watch it grow. And you have to have those places in order. And when you don't have someone who is empathetic, I don't need you to be sympathetic with me. I need you to be empathetic.
Come on now.
When you don't have someone who is, and it starts, safe spaces start at your receptionist. If sis or broham or they them have an issue, or they have a bad feed for the day, that position can, if I can't get Susan to smile and say, "Welcome, Ahmea,"
Okay.
what am I gonna think is gonna happen behind closed doors? If I can't get a provider to stop and talk to me for more than 15 minutes and be in and out,
Yep.
how do I know you care and that things are safe?
Yep. Yep.
How do you, when you have to also be real with people. And a lot of times there's things that are not real, so I don't feel like I may be able to disclose things. Or we sometimes see people who may have an affect that gives off snooty. How do I talk to that? How do I engage with that? How do I know that you're safe?
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
But
How
I
do
will
know that
say,
you're safe? Yes.
At the Colors Organization.
Come on now. I was just about to ask you
At
about
the
that.
Colors Organization.
Talk about colors.
When I first moved to Philadelphia, none of you that I see there at now was there. And I still know the old crew, and they are a beautiful crew. But when I come in and I see you all, the front desk receptionist smiling, I open the front door and it's, "Hey girl!" I can hear you down the hallway. I can see your smile from the glass door. It's a very beautiful space if you haven't been. When I walk through the threshold to come to your office or to go to Eli's office or even to stop and see Ford,
Yep.
doors are open.
Doors are open.
People are smiling.
Yep.
And it is okay. If I've come into your office with a bad day and you have asked people to excuse themselves, and I'm not even a participant, just to figure out and flesh out my brain.
Yep.
That is what safe space looks like. And I believe the Colors organization is doing such an amazing job doing that. When I come in, I know you're doing a great job because I continue to see the same participants every time I go.
Consistency.
And I see them and they see them with their friends. And that is how you know you're running something safe. When you have young people who are just coming out, who are scared to actually talk about within who they are within themselves because they're still trying to figure out, and they get a hope from someone and they then say, I know a place where you can go to feel free. That is how you know you're doing your job. Congratulations, Black woman.
Come on now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you for saying that too. It's very affirming to hear that as well, because personally, I try to create a safe space, to continue to create a safe space of Colors, and it makes us very proud to hear that Colors is reflecting that. You know?
Absolutely.
Especially because even one of the questions I was going to ask, but we kind of already talked about it, was even improvement. Because even for us, who's been around for 30 plus years, it's like there's always room for improvement.
You want some improvement? I got some improvement for you. Find some different sizes in that closet. In that closet.
Yes. We actually need some yes, we do. We
so if you have any materials, any old clothes, Colors organization absolutely is a space that will affirm and be able to give out affirming clothing to the general public. So if you got something for the summer, a girl is always looking, just go ahead and drop that off to the Colors organization.
Thank you. And some shoes.
And some shoes. We're big hoof 11s, so please make sure that if you got big hoofs, we need them. Thank you.
Thank you. Management. All right. Well, then let me switch gears just a little bit and talk more about, from your professional standpoint, how do you create a safe space in your position that you are in? Please talk to us about that if you feel comfortable.
So Ahmea, outside of corporations, I love disruption.
Yes. Sorry.
I love disruption. And so we have to disrupt and dismantle places that do want to show up and show out. We need to stop patronizing places that do not want to accept and create gender affirming or affirming spaces for everyone. What I was literally just having this conversation this afternoon. There's some local LGBT nightlife places that don't affirm and or have some type of prejudice. We don't have anybody out here affirming and saying, this is not right. That is how you then create a safe space. That is how you create a safe, not only space, but movement.
Come on now.
A lot of times we have people right here in this city alone that have the elite power to be able to make room and changes. And they look like you and I. And they have a way to be able to get into the ears of people that sometimes you and I are not able to be invited into the rooms of. What do you do with that? If you are a white male or a white woman and you stand for something, and you're saying you stand for safe space, safe movement, safe care, safe gender affirming.
Yes.
What are you doing to use your privilege in order to continue to make a growth in a community? You don't have to be gay. You ain't got to be bisexual. You don't have to be anything to make sure that someone else feels like they belong on the earth that they do.
Yes.
I'm not going to take this house with me when I pass, but how I treat my house is how other people treat me.
Powerful. Use your power. Use your privilege.
Absolutely. And disrupt and dismantle.
Yes.
Like we need to disrupt and dismantle. And that is what my thing is, especially for summer of 2024. Disrupt and dismantling. A lot of times we don't ask questions. We say okay as if we are still picking.
Yes.
From the 1800s. Yeah. I no longer pick. I sit at the table. I am the table.
I am the table.
I am the table.
Come on now. Period. I know that's right. Thank you so much for sharing that, Ahmea, and for sharing the importance of how dismantling is a part of creating that safe space.
Absolutely.
We got to clean up house
Hello.
in order to create that
And
safe
you got to
space.
clean up house.
Whew, yes, because we have to show up as safe spaces as well as creating them.
Absolutely.
Period. Now, let me ask you one last question.
One?
Why do you think it is incredibly important? What is the significance of creating a safe space specifically for LGBTQ communities of color? And you've kind of already touched on this, but I want you to go even further. Like, why is it specifically important for the intersection of that personality, of that identity type, to have safe spaces? And we both know, because we are both of the LGBTQ and people of color.
I'm going to say this first and foremost. Stop waiting for other folks to create something that you have the power to do.
Use your power.
That's first things first. And why is it important? It's important because we are it. We are the culture. We are the addiction. We are the coke that affords the addiction. We are everything.
Yes.
We are the look. We are the style.
Yes.
And yet we still don't have a realm in order to be who we are. It is important to do that so that those coming behind us understand that they belong, that there is a place. There's not a lot of places, again, in the city of Philadelphia that African Americans that are within the LGBT community can come and congregate. And I know Colors is one of them.
Colors was the first. Come on now.
Follow a blueprint of what Colors is doing, and that is how you'll be able to do what you need to do. That's what I have for you.
Come on now. Thank you
You're
so much.
welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Now, me, I want you to look in that camera and I want you to give us one last tidbit of information or advice, something that you took away from this conversation, or something that you want our viewers watching to take away from this conversation.
If you don't understand someone and you have questions, be open. It is okay to ask questions. It is not okay to down someone because that is not what you chew. Don't yuck someone's yum, especially when you don't know what it took. The cries, the sleepless nights, or anything in between to get to the space of freedom that they did. Free yourself first.
Come on now, free yourself first. Well, thank y'all so much. Thank you, Ahmea.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being vulnerable, for being real, for keeping it 100 with me today.
You know, that's all I can
for
do.
sharing your tidbits of advice. Thank you so much, sister to sister. I love you and I see you. Thank you all so much for watching and for participating. And thank you for joining us for this Colors conversation. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And then go to our Instagram, TheColors.org. Please check us out. And if you live in Philadelphia, come stop by. Visit our safe space.
Yes. Mwah.